All right, if you live and work in downtown Nashville, I would avoid anywhere that surrounds the Capitol beginning Monday, January the 27th, because the governor has issued his call for a special session, and it is a hot mess. So a special called session is supposed to be used sparingly, and it should be limited in scope. Typically, it covers one issue. So we've done them for things like an income tax. We had the one after the Covenant shooting to cover gun violence. You know, they usually do like one issue, and they talk about this one issue, and that's all they do. But Governor Lee, he's just like, woo, we're gonna just shake it all up, and we're gonna have a pre-session session. So I'm not even going to call it a special called session or a special session. It's pre-session session. And let me explain why. So the first thing they will discuss are vouchers, what the governor refers to as the Education Freedom Act. It's a school voucher. That's what it is. What's really interesting is if you read in that second part, in the second paragraph, it says that they are going to increase K through 12 facility funding, which the state doesn't really provide. The state does not provide infrastructure funding for public schools, which is why we have almost $2 billion in infrastructure needs. They are going to provide bonuses to teachers. They're going to increase the TISA funding. You can't do that in just regular session, and you can't do that without tying it to this horrible voucher bill. You should just do that on its own. Now, the second thing they're going to do is hurricane relief funding, and there are several parts to it, so I'm going to let it fill like the whole screen so you can read. So here you can see that they're going to do hopefully $240 million in disaster relief grants, reducing the local cost sharing burden, which is really important. They want to do $110 million for a fund to help local governments with their recovery costs, and then another $100 million to create a program to deal with future emergencies, including agricultural recovery, employment assistance, and business recovery. They're also going to give some money specifically to local education because their schools were completely destroyed. They're going to have to rebuild those. Now, in my opinion, hurricane relief special session should have happened months ago. Okay, it should have already been done and solved, and we should be pumping money into those communities. We shouldn't be loaning them money. We should just be giving them money, kind of how the federal government has done that, how they have just given money through FEMA to these communities that were just completely destroyed. Okay, when I say that they had to give, we are giving money to build a school, that's because schools were completely destroyed. These kids are not in school because there's nowhere for them to go. Okay. Why are we tying this to something else? This should have been done. We should not be discussing a special session for hurricane funding in January, months after the hurricane. There's a third part. I was completely not expecting a third part. I did not know anything about it until this morning when I saw the release. Hold on, I'll show you. We're going to be discussing public safety and immigration. So the special session that is supposed to be limited in scope is now covering school vouchers, hurricane relief funding, and public safety and immigration due to the incoming Trump administration. It's a hot mess. Now, do you see why I just say it's not special session? It is pre-session session. If you have to be downtown, I am very sorry. I have to be downtown, and I don't want to. Not during all of that. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be crazy. We know going into school vouchers, we know that SB1 and HB1 are the existing filed school voucher bills. In order to be addressed in special session, they will have to be refiled for special session. So they'll get new bill numbers. I do not know if they are simply going to refile the existing bill or if they're going to write entirely new legislation. I don't know. I honestly have no clue at this point what's going to come out of this. I would really love to see them just gavel in and gavel out and be like, we're done, on to regular session. And really, if the legislature wanted to push their power, they would do that. They would say, no, thank you. We're just going to go on with our normal schedule. I don't think they're going to do that. But it would be a good middle finger to the governor. And if you have anything to do with state government, you know that the legislature and the governor hate each other. But they won't do it. It's all a power play. And I guess we wait to see what gets filed. They can't file anything until all of the paperwork and everything has been set up and approved for the special session. So he has to file his official proclamation. That hadn't happened yet. But I expect that probably by the end of the day, we will start seeing bills that have already been prepped for this session go in and get filed. As I see those come up, we can talk about them. I have a whole printout of stuff for regular session to discuss. But apparently that's going to go on the back burner now, and we're going to discuss pre-session session. I don't even know.